Let's do it. This is the American Lair Show. And I'm kicking it with Mark Large. You know this guy. You know, the most double RL layers. Yeah. The most intimidating Instagrammer. You know.
I don't know about that.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's good. Good.
It's good.
Enjoying life.
Oh, yeah. I see you just came off of a vacation, didn't you?
Yeah, a few weeks ago we got a week in the sun. We try and do it every February, really, and just get away from the miserable London weather.
Have you always lived in London?
No, I think I've been here about 20 years now. I was born in a town in the north of England, and sort of I was always kind of drawn to London for shopping and lifestyle, and eventually made the move.
And now here you are. Cool. Did work bring you to London?
Yeah, a bit, I suppose, really. Yeah, I was made redundant from the job I had up north, and a friend lived down here, and I just came down, stayed with him, and picked up a job, and the rest was history, really. I'm here. I think I'm here for the long haul now.
Well, it's good to have you with us this morning. It's morning for me.
It's a pleasure.
It's afternoon for you. In case anyone doesn't know, Mark Large is big. He's large in the Ralph Lauren, the double RL community. And if you visit his page, his Instagram, it's easy to understand why. This guy has plenty of quality pieces and he layers them in an interesting way. So we're going to kick it today. Tell us how you got your IG start.
I opened the account and kind of drifted in, taking pictures and, you know, doing what you do. And then one day I tagged RRL. I had a jacket on, and I was probably getting 5 or 10 likes on a picture in them days. And this picture, I don't know, probably 30 likes. And I thought, wow, this is like, what's happening here? Why is everyone liking this picture? And I looked through, and I found Julian Lander had liked it. And looking at it, I mean, I looked through the RRL hashtag, and I was seeing things, and that was obviously what had sort of done it and getting the likes on it. But I mean, I fell in love with Julian's account. That's kind of what started me doing what I did, because until then it was just day-to-day pictures of me and Helen, or, you know, where we were, restaurants or whatever. But I decided to go that way with the clothing and sort of document what I was wearing.
Right.
Yeah, Julian's account, it just kind of amazed me. I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole reason my account is what it is now, really.
Wow. Yeah, gotta pay respect, gotta give tribute, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It had that same effect on me when I first saw it. I said, wow, this is flawless.
Yeah, it's, you know, like I say, it was amazing. I'd never sort of met anyone with that amount of clothing, and just the way he put it together, it really captured sort of my imagination. I mean, I think I was wearing my clothes similar, but I mean, over the past few years, it's been interesting because I think his style's slightly changed. It's been influenced by people on IG, and my style definitely has as well. I think we're all sort of changing and moving on all the time. But I mean, I certainly get a lot of influence from IG and people I see, people's accounts, and you know, it's a positive thing.
Yeah. Outside of Julian's, whose account has had the most influence on you?
There'd be a few, I would say. I mean, Julio Gears 1979, who works at RRL in London, he's got a great account and he does a lot of vintage. Ollie, obviously, is sort of relentless in buying. You know, he's got some fantastic items.
Yeah.
And he puts it together well. Union of Brotherhood sort of started up recently in Japan. I think he works in the Tokyo store. It's really good stuff. There's a few guys like Scott Fraser Simpson. He's a sort of vintage collector in London. He's got really nice style, sort of modernism, which is where I came from originally. Which I like to look back on all that. I like all the sort of heritage styles and Americana. So there's a few preppy people out there as well I follow. There's a broad length of people, really. I Am Dean, people like that.
Mm-hmm.
You could go on really, couldn't you?
Yeah.
There's a day-to-day sort of list of people whose pictures come up, and I will always like them because they're always likable.
Right. How do you decide who you'll follow? I know some people give sympathy follows.
If I like it, I follow it. Really, it's. I don't look at things like if they've got 20,000 followers or 10 followers. If there's a range of photos on there that I like, I follow them. It's simple as that, really.
We want to talk about how you started your collection or your interest in the brand.
I kind of fell into it, really, I think.
Yeah.
My first sort of fashion over here was, first thing I noticed was like a mod revival. I don't know if you know modernism in America. It's kind of a blend of American preppy and Italian tailoring. It sort of started in the 60s, faded out, went on to other things, but in the late 70s we had a sort of revival. And that was kind of the first trend I noticed as a young teenager. And I think that's where my preppy sort of love started, and seems to have stayed with me forever.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning, was it hard to get your hands on the pieces you like?
Not really, no, because I tend to go for the things that get sort of left on the shelf, and over the years I've found loads of really good deals in outlet stores, the things people didn't want to buy, really.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a love of colour, and I do like things to be a little bit gearish, really, so I've been lucky being able to get things.
How big is your collection?
Oh, too big. I mean, I've got so much stuff in storage, really. I don't like getting rid of anything. So it goes into storage. When I haven't worn it for a while, then I need to make space. It all gets stored. Occasionally I re-find things now and then, which is nice.
Well, it's great. You're making a name for yourself. I was up at the RRL office up in New York.
I saw you've been up there. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys up there know you, man. They mentioned your name.
Yeah, that's nice to know.
How often do you add new pieces to the collection?
Most weeks, really. I'll probably buy something every week, I would say.
And it looks like your wife is pretty stylish too.
Yeah, she knows what she likes, and we're definitely in competition for the amount of things we bring into the house weekly, yeah, and competition for storage space, that's for sure.
You grab pieces for each other? You know her style that well?
Yeah, I know what she likes, and sometimes I see things I think she'd like and get it, and she's not sure, but tries it and likes it, and likewise as well. We know each other's taste. We've been married 19 years now, so we know what we like.
And you're a painter, are you?
Yeah, decorator. And that's what I do on a day-to-day basis.
What sort of painting is that when you say decorator?
I suppose it's a decorating contractor to you in America, whereas I know a decorator in America is more of a sort of a interior designer.
Oh.
I'm a contractor, decorating contractor.
Oh man, is it fun?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I've always enjoyed architecture and buildings, and it's something, in design and such. And obviously, being a finishing trade, I get to see a lot of the things we do at the end of at the end of a project. So it's nice to see. We do a lot of high-end work, a lot of heritage work. So, you know, I see some nice things, nice buildings.
Wow, is it you and the wife?
No, it's just me. I work for a firm, and I manage the firm. It's a medium-sized sort of firm, but we do a lot of nice buildings and see a lot of good stuff. You know, Helen works in the city, in the city of London as a sort of a recruitment agency.
I'm sure there have been pieces that you maybe had to try hard to get your hands on.
Yeah, there's been a few pieces over the years I've chased all over the place to get. I've had a few bits that I've chased at length. I've managed to get from the New York store. Mm-hmm. But it's been, I'm sure I drive Helen mad, because for a week or 2 weeks at a time, if I'm after something, I'm talking about it and chasing it and trying to get it here and trying to get it there, and obviously at the right price as well, which is a factor, mm-hmm. and which is why I get a few bits from New York, because we just pay so much in England for most things, but Ralph Lauren definitely is higher priced here than anywhere else that I've been to.
Do you order it like direct from one of the US websites, or you have a connect?
No, because the websites won't send to England, so I normally ring Alex, who manages the new Brooklyn store now. He used to be at Prince Street, mm-hmm. and they closed that store a year ago or so, and he's now managing the Brooklyn store. And I managed to sort of get a hold of him a couple of years ago when I was chasing something, and he hooked me up, and I've gone to him ever since, really. And if I'm in New York, I always go to his store and spend my money there, really.
You bring a few suitcases like Julian?
Not quite on that scale, but yeah, I certainly fill the bags up. Get it while it's good. Get it while it's cheap as well. Like I say, it's a lot cheaper in America than it is in England.
How often are you in the States?
Once a year, probably on average, but different sort of different places. It came up on Facebook yesterday. A year ago today, I was in LA, and I remember hitting the store in LA and spending a good bit of money and getting some good stuff.
Wow, was that for a vacation?
Yeah, it was Helen's 40th birthday, so we went to the Viva Las Vegas Vintage Festival, mm-hmm. and then drove through to LA and had a week in LA and mm-hmm. did a bit of shopping and a bit of sightseeing.
Wow, I'm always curious about which states people from other countries find interesting, because I guess each state is kind of intimate to us Americans because we grow up with it. But I always wonder what makes someone from the UK say, "Hey,
I've never found anywhere in the States that I haven't enjoyed. I mean, I'm a big fan of Americana, and I just love America, and a lot of our vacations are in America. And yeah, I've been all over, and I've never not enjoyed any sort of vacation. Mm. I mean, you from around Washington? Is that where you're based?
I'm actually from New Jersey.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, a town right next to Philly, so we share that river.
Yeah. I've been to Philly. I
okay.
enjoyed staying there.
Cool. How long were you in Philly?
Did about 4 days in Philly.
Okay.
Pretty cool, and we went from there to Atlantic City and spent some time in Washington. I think we ended up in Chicago on that visit. We went all over, really.
Wow, did you rent a car and like drive all over?
Yeah, we started off in New York and had a while, and then we was going to get the Greyhound, but we made a last minute choice to rent a car, and it was probably a good decision in the long run.
Have you seen the South? America South?
No, not the real South, really. Florida and such, Miami. I went to Miami for a few years, but not like the deep South. We've never done that. It's on the list, definitely. We will do it one day.
I'm impressed. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm impressed that you even know that term. You know, or that difference between the real South and
Yeah.
Florida. Wow. I probably don't know that much about your area. It's embarrassing.
I don't know. I think we do pretty well listening to all your podcasts and such. It's you know your stuff.
Yeah. So how do you kick back, man, when you're not painting?
Well, shopping. Shopping. We go to a lot of burlesque things and music gigs and such. Restaurants. Museums. We do like a museum. We do things. We like life. We like living it. We're only here once, so we've got to make the most of it.
Exactly. You connect with some other Instagrammers, huh?
Yeah, quite a few actually. I mean, talking of vacations, I mean, I've met up with quite a lot of people on a lot of vacations via Instagram, and I would recommend it. It's we've had some great experiences having evenings with people when we're in other countries and such. It's it's good to meet people.
Like, how many different people have you connected with?
Quite a few. I mean, every trip we do, we meet people. I mean, Lanzarote, obviously, recently we didn't because it's such a small island and there's not really any Instagrammers on there. But we was in Berlin at Christmas, and we met a guy called Herr Punkt who took us out, showed us the city, and looked after us, which was pretty cool. Cool guy. Amsterdam, we met all the guys over there the year before. Obviously, New York, I met a few guys when we've been over there. So, it's pretty, and LA last year, Vegas and LA last year, we met up with quite a few people.
Yeah, I love LA. I love the West Coast in Southern California.
It's a pretty cool place, isn't it?
It's
just a vibe over there. It's so laid back.
Yeah,
we love it. We're already planning going back sort of April next year, doing the festival in Vegas again, and then spending a bit of time in LA.
Hey, let me ask about the collection again. Are you just acquiring pieces, as you come across them, or do you have an ultimate vision for what you want this thing to be?
It's a bit of both, really. I pick up things when I see them, like eBay or outlets or whatever. There's pieces in the new collections that I really want, so I go and get. And what I'm tending to do nowadays, because RRL it seems to sort of do a lot of very similar stuff each season, and just change a pocket or the cut slightly different or a slightly different fabric. I found I was getting a lot of things that were very similar. So I'm trying to be a bit more picky now and kind of broaden the collection, get things that are a bit different to what I've got, so it's not all the same.
Right. Which brands were you in before Double RL?
Polo. And rugby before that as well, before it closed. I was a big rugby fan.
Wow. So you still mix that stuff in?
Yeah, I've still got a lot of it. Like I say, I don't get rid of anything. It all goes in storage if I'm not wearing it. But yeah, I love rugby. I love all that sort of preppy, college gate sort of style. I think it suits me. I enjoy it,
Yeah. How about footwear?
Footwear, I tend to buy a lot of the Purple Label boots and like hiking boots and things I seem to have bought over the years. I've got a bit of Polo footwear, but then I like brands like Baswegian, obviously coming from the sort of preppy background. I had a long spell, I was collecting Alan Edmonds shoes from America. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of them. And Red Wings, I got a lot of Red Wings as well.
What was your childhood like?
Pretty good. It's kind of a small town and it was a great place to grow up. It was like a Victorian seaside resort. It was a nice childhood, really good group of friends.
Were you into collecting anything, like even besides clothes?
I probably went through all the trends, like skateboarding and BMXing and doing all that sort of stuff growing up, like most kids would. I don't know about... I was always mad. Clothes were my thing from sort of about 10 years old when I sort of noticing older lads wearing certain styles. I seem to be drawn to it, and just had to sort of try and get these things that people had.
Yeah.
Which, coming from a small town, quite often I had to travel to the bigger cities.
Mm. Did you work little odd jobs?
I did odd jobs, yeah, and I was pretty lucky. My parents sort of helped me a bit more my mother than my father. I remember being about 12 years old and buying a Lacoste t-shirt, and it was like £28, and my mother, she said, tell your father it was £12 when we get home. And he said, oh, that's really nice. And I said, yeah, it was £12. And he's like, what? £12 ridiculous for a t-shirt.
Right.
Yeah. If only he'd known what we really paid for it.
Right. That's crazy. When I was in high school, we liked the Iceberg and Moschino and Versace stuff.
Yeah.
Some of us could only afford the t-shirts. That's all I could afford. So we would buy a little $140 t-shirt and dress it up,
That's the way to do it, isn't it? When you're younger, money's a problem, isn't it? And you've got to style it out a bit, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I was lucky. I got my first job. When I was a kid, I had my first job at PetSmart. Every Friday I got paid. I spent the whole check on clothes, and it was actually Ralph Lauren mostly.
Yeah.
I know what it's like, man.
Yeah, it draws you in, and you need to have it, don't you? It's addictive.
Yeah. What's cool is, it felt like a waste at times, growing up. At least that's what people tell you. But if you're creative, you can actually, turn collecting into a profession or become a personality or something related,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things to waste your money on, isn't there? Like, waste things. There's no harm in buying clothes, is there really? And as you say, it could be nice. I mean, I've certainly, the IG thing, I've had people approach me and offer me sort of freebies from their company. If you like it, would you put a photo on your account or whatever? And quite often, if I like something, if it's something I would have bought myself, I'm quite happy to accept it and put it in a picture because I'll be wearing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's a positive because all I'm doing really is taking a photo of what I'm wearing day to day, and it's nice that people appreciate the style, or it's nice to know you're doing something that other people like.
Right. Do people recognize you on the street ever?
I've had one or two moments, yeah, which is nice. Like I say, it's nice to meet people. People, people follow you. So there's a couple of guys who said you're Matt Large or whatever, and I followed them, got to have a chat, and started following them on IG, and it's always good to meet new people.
Okay, I asked another guy if he's ever had any, odd DMs or inboxes, and he had a story for me. Have you ever had a crazy DM or inbox?
Yeah, no crazy sort of inbox things, just maybe language barriers from like Japanese people, or, you get the gist of what they're trying to say, but it takes a little bit of working out. But yeah, everything's all good really. I've had no mad DMs or anything. It's pretty cool.
Okay, good. Hey, has anyone ever used your photo as their avatar?
I've had people reposting pictures and such, and I'm sure there's a few pictures out there that I've not seen. There was one picture actually. I took part in something called Project 60, which is photos of bearded and moustache men, and there was quite a big art display in London. It's on in Sweden at the moment actually, but there was an artist somewhere who used that portrait, and he added some really weird stuff on it, and it was a bit psychedelic. That was a bit crazy. I didn't get tagged in it, but I think the photographer who did the portrait found it and mentioned it to me, and yeah, that was a bit weird. I'm sure there's photos of me out there all over the place, really, that I've not seen.
I'd like to see the photo you're referring to, so maybe you could.
I'll dig it out later and I'll send you it.
Yeah. I was actually scrolling, scrolling through, something on IG, and this guy was using my photo as his avatar, and it was kind of.
I've seen Ollie Congress. He's had a few of his used, I've noticed, and Julian as well. I've noticed have had a few of this, which was used by people and not sort of tagging them or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I guess it's flattering. I guess.
You got to take it that way, I suppose, haven't you?
Yeah. I was telling a friend, Pony Boy. I was telling he said, man, I would have straightened that out. I said, well, I guess as you grow, people kind of consider your stuff to be like public.
I think so, yeah.
So.
Plus, there's people out there, I suppose, who may be new to IG and they don't realise perhaps it should be tagged or whatever. It might be a genuine mistake.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a few trying to pass it off for real as well. But,
This one guy was alternating between my photo and Rico K's photo. It was strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, well, it's, like you say, it's positive, isn't it?
Yeah. Whatever. So it's Friday. So what are you getting into after work?
Quiet evening today, and then tomorrow we're off to the Imperial War Museum for an exhibition and a bit of dinner after that, I think. It's a quiet weekend this weekend, actually.
Are you going to take photos?
Yeah, I'll take a few photos there. It's a fantastic museum. It's really good. One of my favourites.
One more question. I was going to wrap it up, but tell me a little bit more about the burlesque. How'd you guys get into that?
We kind of fell into it through a conversation in a pub with some friends, and there was a poster on the wall. This is a few years back, and there was a poster for a burlesque show, and one of my friends had been and said we should try it. So we did, and we just kind of kept going and got to know all the performers in London, and it just kind of grew, and we went to a club a couple of times and they made us a member, and so we keep going back there. Then we got to know a DJ who did one of the big shows, and he used to put us on the guest list, so we was there all the time. And we enjoy it. Like last year in New York, we went to the New York Burlesque Week and did all that. And if we're having a vacation, there's something on, we'll go to it.
Yeah,
it's a cool scene. And in London, it's a bit different in each sort of city, but in London, it kind of went on around the vintage scene, which was nice. Everyone's dressed up with some good quality clothes, and it's nice on a Saturday evening to put a 3-piece suit on and go out there and sort of enjoy a good evening,
Yeah, it's cool, and I like it. It's impressive because it's not really the usual. Most people aren't going to like burlesque events.
Yeah, I suppose we've done it for that long. It seems normal, and we don't really think about it. But I suppose if you take a moment and think about it, it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but it's cool, it's a really nice crowd that go, and the performers are all fantastic, and it's just like family, really. It's pretty cool.
Tell us about the tattoos a little bit.
Yeah, I think I always wanted a lot of tattoos, but I didn't want to put the time in for years, and I went and got one in London when I hadn't been here very long. And it was an Australian guy who did it, who just sort of moved to London. We got talking, and I ended up sort of getting heavily tattooed by him for maybe 2 years. Sort of every Saturday I was having a few hours with him, and covered, in a short period of time, covered a lot of my body, and it's addictive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I actually met Ollie in the tattooist, Ollie Congress. It was he was getting tattooed by one person and me by another, and that's kind of how he got into double RL a little.
Ollie's looking at your photos and he sees the double RL.
We was getting tattooed at the same time in the same shop, and we had a chat while we was there and such. And the tattoo shop put a photo of me getting tattooed and tagged me. So he sort of found the RRL hashtag looking at my thing and fell in love with it.
So how many do you have now?
Oh, I couldn't count really. It's kind of a full body. It's just molding into one giant one now. Wow.
Will you ever stop?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty full. I wouldn't have them on my face, really, or my head. There'll come a time there'll be no more room, really. I mean, I've eased off. Past few years, I've had one or two, I went hard at it for a few years originally, and it's kind of got full pretty quick. So, because there's not a lot of space left now, I kind of really think about what I'm going to do.
Well, Mark. Thanks for joining us, man.
No, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Really good speaking to you.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm a fan, and I think a lot of us are big fans of you and what you do. So keep doing it.
Yeah, likewise. I appreciate it.
No doubt. And come back sometime and kick it with us. We can do a follow-up.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a pleasure.
All right, no doubt. Next time.
Cheers. Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Once again, thank you for allowing me to share my obsession with you. It's been great. I can be reached at dave@americanlayers.com. Be sure to hit me up. Catch you next episode.